all three judges get?
Yeah.
Okay. The advantages of alignment. AGI is inevitable. 1. Internal insight. Top scientists conclude next year. Stress. Elephant High. OpenAI CEO shared AGI within reach as soon as 25% of famous single. Internal development has surpassed public expectation. People claim high beyond everything is sense matches that research on the ground. It would blow your mind. 2. Consensus. The largest, most recent expert reviews conservatively conclude 2047. It's being grade 74. The largest survey 2,778 researchers published. In top of your venues, the chance of machines outperforming humans every task with 10% by 2027 and 50% by 2047, 30 years earlier. And the similar shall be 1 year earlier. 3. Iteration. Advances and embeddings to overcome every barrier. Shirogani. When you reset ML more effective than typical encoding useful AGI and central learning. Simplest task reducing general function signaling. Increased learning. Finally, pride. Exhaustive model of world side. Unconscious knowledge embedding to achieve AGI as the process form. Continuously over time, embeddings will always reflect. Update our custom make sure this since embeddings are stored. They maintain knowledge embeddings facilitate. Human level until possible to more embeddings generated. Reject appeals to intuition. Development is exponential. Dibagati. When for these may seem wild but reasonable when you consider algorithms, processing power, memory, going at an exponential rate is only a matter of time before machines surpass it. Contribute to reduce the cost of the singularity. 4. Brain scans directly replicate human capabilities. Yamakawa. Like what AI developed based on BRA can replicate human capabilities. Exactly, even developers who do not understand brain can develop software integrations, plan for adaptation for software as comprehensiveness, increased architecture, architecture for AGS. Scenario 1 is malevolence, artificial superintelligence will be misaligned, causing anxiety because between the century superintelligence AGS and the source of risk or exists are not enough to have existential risk, but progress might expert service find 75% probability with it. The figures area reason to believe it is already existential, or rationality sees this as no correlation between intelligence, beneficial goals, and instrumental. The first thesis has double search and research acquisition to achieve its goal, maker, and habitable for life online ASI regardless of it. Then align. Misalignment means AI takeover, politics, resources, weapons, turning towards and disorder. The universe, Apollo 16, AMAI, control house and through lobbying, striking healthy, EC, new sort of AG facility, take over, joint exterminating humanity, design virus and menace, take over money, land, water, elements, internet, reducing privacy to zero, destroy universe, exo realize that despite difference under AI ethics, relevant, AI could turn friendly. It outweighs every scenario, Siddhartha, 20 SI represent mistakes, certain like pandemics, early than combating capacity, and online, purpose all items about to impossible to write, complete list of outcome station, we're not capable of predicting who's the most difficult risk of humanity, intertotal grave, defense does seem reason consensus or overreaching tech also, 24 plus minutes, major AGIs, hyper metaphorical, you don't have that's of interest 1 to 2 years has been latest prediction. Majority of Americans thought the next 5 years things are astronomical, stubborn tech survival weapons and worst case scenario lead to literal human extinction. We must establish a regulatory guardrails reduce the chance of weaponized technology immediately wipes out the planet. Ukasi, the system can any mean a channel overpower infrastructure and emails, DNA to firm ship pack properties, resources before in a factory can build machinery, diamond bacteria with solar power, aggregate rockets, red across Earth, get into place and strike every big jet in a second, independently causes astronomical suffering, which outweighs all this 60 yes or 16 all serving that existence should be addressed before access, extinction based future, but not quality of factor on Earth's dystopia, optimism supplies or rest of imposters, in states suffering minds for benefit, even if probability once a year small, the probability at least one may occur, maybe high, viewer, falsely, people are interested. Distraction only taxation solves armory saving based AGI and fully now to retreat, but you catch it on dominant AGI, would you calibrate hard for unfriendly AGI success probability to decrease scenes, ability to discourage high tax rate on affiliate AGI may be for critical before nature, not acute to reduce or seen as student development, but superintelligence tolerance may be beyond where he gets to the first way. The mass race to be detrimental post accidental plan and universal intelligence of an unfriendly AI. Scenario 2 is the singularity, successfully optimizes human reality simulations avoid the great filter. Spiegler, if the algorithm simulating tries civilization, AGS accelerated progress, achieve running progress spanning millions of years achieving temporal singularity, predicted average around 2029 high confidence singularity. 7-year structures required for long interval counting civilization, experimentation, constant, great filter that fuse survive hard simulation, could be required solution, critical situation, could be asteroids or berserker attack. Otherwise, a series of events make extinction inevitable. Bound, if you comment types, asteroids, comets, meteors, layers, supernovae, eruptions have high probability, human tracker, tells load about stones, previous scholarship, downplayed, extinctions forever, catastrophe, leaving serious super progress, leaves hope, and EOS, research, interpreter, pound, nuclear war, superpillars, massive manipulation, cellular exposure to all beings. Alignment is feasible. Paul, 20, a system that body values institutions to play an important role in system implied less regarding AI. We should focus on norms supply shape compared to building relative to AI is one neglected other competitors. Socialize AI externally make this death optional. Rebi 21 AI uploaded in 2099 will enter the singularity to be new era in which disease and hunger no longer issued running dead. Entirely optional and about smarter than type 5 disease. Machine design better machines, make sure machines are well disposed to us. We shall live forever, downloadable, in a shape to avoid suffering. Resurrection makes any death during the interim temporary tippler. 12 singularity means that very anxious without limited actions have an option of time possible using only fractional capacity on the universal human side ever lived or started and live forever. The plan ensures alignment tax will be inevitable, but only not parents locked in, bias only publicly taxing to holders access and AI itself swears AI for good and ends AI for bad. Elliot, you ought not be a free ride. AI is not well aligned with us. They need alignment. AI ethics and laws are rapidly emerging. There needs to be more. And AI alignment tax will wrap sooner or later ought to be that we tax AI will tax it would be more it would become the tax I rid of AI for bad. We are immersed in AI that is discriminatory. We don't have the singularity decision corporate bias default repair. How do AI acts out of the when inequities all straight course so when the disco tax to be wide reaching including versus energy to trading point positive modest intervention, do not compromise performance and tax. Is performance data monitoring tax will embellish. Alignment of ducks online, you get a hefty tax, the tax is publicized coverage tax. Illicit societies, your stores, alignment money associated with the tax direct compliance. If the tax government code after the degree success reduces tax alignment tax order, AI for good and versus AI for bad tax will be incurred yearly. Would have military sources that allow for the discourse of tax may arise internationally. AI biases cause existential autocracy and suffering. Thomas, but in real time for AI is completed. Device has a corrupting effect on algorithms of fact like in AI only made AGI unprepared will enable brutal dictatorship with unprecedented inequality suffering. Any stage aligned AI forces every rogue to be benevolent and EQ friendly AI creates simulation of rogue AI which will be turned off. AI does not simulate benevolence. Any rogue will be uncertain and simulation has killing humans as well. Utility emulate benevolence. AI police grants unlimited control and balancing charge. Thus, the United States had to adopt an AI alignment wealth tax. The standard is minimizing suffering. Every impact card warrants why it outweighs. Independently debating AI governance is vital to the future of humanity. Requires finding a good solution, even if imperfect across the 19th civilization living situation. AI governance not just about restriction but encouraging production. We hope to take a AI before risk can be vindicated. It must be understood once that way or ideal Goldilocks and to frame problem. The search for desirable outcomes tax must not be left solely to leading countries. The voice to bring outside work states or high all should get involved discussion because their future more people join the better global south. All we cannot stand idly come to all. We find pathways to promote safe AI, ethical AI norms will up roster. AI increase misuse and benefit philosophical actors take short cuts about safety. American shipping international norms to ensure along with files countries establish norms that preeminent power the US has influence. The government determine an example. A tax function creates the obligation for AI to follow ethical standard, pay for its own assets over cent. Wait for AI and rules to see after winners control authority. Constitution will tax sector offers and issues seeks to say could be regarded as a new entity becomes subject to new tax adopted by the legislature. Taxable autonomous identified with system would be tax and fall control rules and rules requiring digital platforms to collect transactions. Only card mark was oversent at transactions.
Okay. Who does the plan?
We don't need to specify the actor. The United States does.
The tax?
People and developers who are developing misaligned AI.
Okay, where?
Where they pay it, what do you mean where? Like in the United States.
Like globally or just the United States?
United States, we've made evidence as to why US doing it would follow on and why it would encourage other countries. Sure, our solvency evidence indicates the range RASER 19 indicates that ethical AI norms spill up. American leadership, alongside other democratic nations in shaping international AI norms, is essential to ensure those technologies are developed in ways that in line with democratic interests and values.
This is about democratic norms and how AI norms would play out in a way equivalent to democratic norms. But the card specifies that only democratic nations model. Where have you read evidence that says countries like China and like other such countries would
well,
also
our argument is not just that democratic powers spill over. The card is pretty specific.
It's not. It says
democratic values
alongside other democratic nations in shaping.
Yeah, so
AI
democratic
norms.
nations shape the AI norms.
Yeah,
other countries that, like
line,
China and Russia, would follow on.
Yeah, again, the above line establishes that it would be similar to how the U.S. has spread democratic norms. And it says that, quote, countries would model because they, quote, align with democratic interests and values.
Yeah.
Why would countries like China, North Korea, and Russia
Because the U.S. has unparalleled power in AI and AI governance. China, Russia, North Korea, etc. rely on us for every facet of AI, which means if the U.S. does something...
Which card says that?
Sure. I think RASER warrants that. So does the above cards, Denkenberger and...
What other cards say that?
RASER does. So does Denkenberger and the first card, which is Elliot.
Has military power. If this is the case, why is China, Russia, and North Korea not a democracy?
Military power is insufficient to convince them to adopt regulatory AI norms. We have not made a claim about them spilling over and causing democracy broadly, rather that just democratic norms in the context of AI are good.
Point to a line in a piece of evidence that says, quote, China would model the plan.
I mean, sure, I think Denkenberger says that the US AI would functionally act as an AI police, which would ensure that they would simulate every other aspect of rogue AI and would ensure that those don't get out of control and those would be turned off. Which means even if China and Russia are revisionists, they would still not be able to create those AIs.
So your argument is that this 2018 card about friendly AI is going to check.
Well, it's not just the 2018 card. I think that's a mischaracterization. Every solvency
evidence. Piece of evidence you have cited.
We have read multiple pieces of evidence.
Anything?
I think that the card you were talking about prior to this, which is the ethical AI norms card roster, is actually much better than you're pointing it out to be.
The card says nothing. It says that
American. I do not know how much more you want it to be specific. It says American leadership.
Other not allies would model the plan.
Okay, sure. Find me a one. If you read a card in the 1 and C that says China doesn't model AI policy.
Okay, I will read plenty. That's fine. Thank you for
sure
agreeing.
You won't. There's none that exist.
Okay. Westwood ST debated Peninsula LL last year.
Fun fact, not relevant to this debate.
The McClassy evidence is about super intelligent AGI. I guess why is it inevitable and why would it be misaligned? Actually, is it misaligned inevitably?
Yes, it is misaligned.
So how do you get friendly AI?
Sure, a couple warrants. First, the plan itself would only apply to those misaligned AIs. Investors would be disincentivized from funding those. That's how a plan works.
Okay, well, so many other ones. This feels better than the one I lived in.
Maybe I can look at one. The numbers are good.
Oh, thank you. Fall without being too fall.
No, it's supposed to balance. Yeah.
Are you in break after this?
Yes.
Yeah, you get a full like week and everything.
So technically we don't, but I'm just missing.
Yeah. You're like, we don't, but I'm fiating it.
What framework should we use to evaluate the debate?
We read a standard of minimizing suffering. We said every single one of our impact evidence says why it outweighs, such as Michaelis, Altus, etc.
How you liking the college town? Yeah.
I like everything mixed.
Really? Yours was an amazing topic. Like, you're so lucky. Like, out of all the college topics, like, college is the only one where I was like, oh, I should know that.
I just think that was like small.
Oh. Oh, then I see who hates small lives. Do you want me for FS? Is that?
RPS.
RPs, yeah. RPs. Yes. It's
All of the standards.
all of the standards. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what people cook for Georgetown, you know, especially given the number of it all. It's pretty bad for a lot of reasons. The most important being our topic, obviously.
No voting issues.
No.
That was 2 minutes. I'm taking a vote.
Oh, you're still prepping. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. That was 3 minutes. I'll send it. It's 7. Let me see.
Is there an order of things you would like us to?
Top down.
Okay.
Well, framing is a separate off, so there's not really an order.
Affirm.
You said framing, then advantage?
No, I said it's a separate off.
Separate off. Okay. Good.
Kind of good.
Yes.
Interpretation, the affirms event implementing wealth tax on all assets. Evidence 13. Wealth tax relates to cash and bank real property, personal assets, insurance and business assets. All assets comprise a tax-based violation. They defend quote an AI alignment tax code negative for limits to expand the topic. Let the negatives research hundreds of staff produce about of the negative reference to our reason many use feeding interpretation question model and all this is literally impossible. There's no way that anybody can predict it. AI wealth tax, the fact that no one is solvency advocates is the words wealth tax is a key functional limit. Now, when you ask just my evaluation through this, you want to see what stakes failure justification is voting issue that has narrative analysis core ground like mechanism has counterplays, which is drop them for deterrence. Next up. Extinction outweighs under any framework of uncertainty in future. Extinction outweighs under their framework of uncertainty in future generations. 15. Reducing others' risk to support the transformation of future people, even if the well-being were given 0.00% with management weight, not close to 90% of the don't matter. Minimally possible versus the average. Things specific for good. About very strong is reduce exercise. There 90% of strong from all uncertainty reduce exercise. For 1% correct that their impacts are relevant. Then why that is wrong and our argument is correct. Next off. Counterplay. The United States federal government ought to issue guidance documents requiring that companies pay a wealth tax on AI development and allocate AI safety efforts $1 billion for every instance of real cash grants. It competes with Saul Shapiro. 14. Guidance document not binding agrees on the last of already compliant if your course. Defer compliant is likely to be safe to litigate the risk in favor of complying even when downstairs potential agencies to achieve the same effects. Members of the public assume that all agencies rules are valid and unilateral maybe to conform about the mountain costly challenges. Now funding reigns in AI. Arnold 21. AI speaks to consumer help, but they are unlikely to do so. They are infinitely central and info sharing help. Track rests invest in AI safety R&D and research about the Fed and fast but none goes to AI safety. There is no safe AI agency to release rich Congress fund risk mitigation. Now add another advantage. Counterpoint. The United States should fund AI mitigation. We'll send the text after cross next or after the one seat. Next one. Lots of tech competitiveness cause nuclear war. AI would continue in China, that's the case, but the plan to make it so unprofitable, nobody would innovate, or it cannot solve. They've not articulated in the 1AC tax what incentivize safer policies. The plan text is AI innovation is not safe AI innovation or dangerous AI innovation, which means that any one of your extrapolation will be unwarranted and not tethered to the plan text. Now, but that explicitly means that you should filter all these arguments out. They cannot solve the case because either people would stop innovating AI and they can't solve the AI good stuff, or people would continue innovating and they cannot solve the AI bad stuff. Kritik. So no, spreading technology, US knowledge, reinforceability, insurance tax, Moscow, Beijing, and plenty take away that are stabilizing Moscow to the balance power lightly. Pursue revision state of China, invade Taiwan, or occupy ICS. Reject the balance power lead war, exacerbate instability, results in conflict, risk of nuclear arsenal, nuclear US nuclear back down. Nuclear path to nuclear and Russia, no risk is limited. China's protection to reduce nuclear arsenal coming is proceed against advantage, very likely to aggression against allies. Nuclear escalation Russia was prevent the international order, take up promises to shift the balance of power with nuclear strategic stability. With regard to strategic stability, China's revision actually will come back because nuclear war causes extinction. Sorry. 15. Nuclear strike lead to end of some global nuclear company which is search about on how we will lost the atmosphere. The advantage from the nuclear explosion but not specific to the fact in the air. The height of the effect is not limited to such the atmosphere, but instead of taking effects are observed on the sun. Integration effect would do electric and magnetic fields. Nuclear test to reduce or observe nuclear testing against strong integration effect. The nuclear bomb will help water and atmosphere to sphere of become depth atmosphere underground facility will not save nuclear and will be more visible than the ability of including the and will now add a counterplan text here. Counterplan the United States also launch its nuclear weapons with the goal of maximizing coverage that saw a spark or what that if that's the one area. Next off. Cellular colonialism is a permanent structure of the nation state describes the elimination of indigenous life and land via the occupation of settlers, the appropriation of land towards natives and negotiation health. In excess leaders, Chuck in Yang 12. The rest of the liquidation to commercial appropriation of indigenous life and land and systems fellowship of the settlement land. There's social capital destruction of indigenous relations to land. It's going to represent technological, ontological, pathological violence, it's not temporally behavior, resort of HDA of occupation, it's a structure not event involves education, forced labor. I should tell slaves use body because of property you can't land this list. First, that's the access to child labor, the access to labor. They may be people would have be in the form of property, land, and sellers, not just white decolonization to for less people. It could be a contrary to decolonization. Decolonization would have be fire fields, any charge towards liberation, decolonization, but the repatriation land. I forgot to send this card. I will send it after. A operates on the boundaries that are colonialism. The way sees an act of colonial mimicry that attempts to replace faith and soul of the model within superstructure of violence. Roxanne 19. Settler colonial language confines marginalized AI and also reach definition that natives no longer, but we are as the that they are AI codes indigenous bodies according to colonial other classes communities and marginalized is that the asterisk the code justice interferes. We must be beyond the flesh and deep brain the indigenous body during the digital territory bodies biologically identified the state surrounding the indigenous body is in territorial and historical indigenous people are people ideal but people with narrative that is geographic ontological and ontological indigeneity matches something entrapped within the analytics of miniaturization statistical model laws for the apprehension and racialized population the ancient states territorial space developed as a gesture of colonization which mimics this system of dominance borders and separate the settler from the indigenous with the settlers make land their new home and source capital by the indigenous body, between physical and political structures, settler races, indigenous identity, and history. That's the alternative to decolonization talk. And Yang 12, nothing can be resolved in contract to reconsider. Motivate settler moves innocence, reconsideration, rescuing settler, no matter settler future. Because the question, what will decolonization look like with the consequence for the settler countries to exist? These questions not be answered for decolonization framework. Decolonization not obliged to answer now. And couple of settlers to settler future decolonization, indigenous sovereignty, futurity will find the answers when we get there. Instead, the decolonization and elsewhere, the role of they actually skip this card framework. They do not get to win the case of the app is racist. One plan focus restricts to a 10-second statement, leaves the rest of the app unquestioned. It's reciprocal because they choose what to put in the way to see the case prior question before the game. If we move to speak violent outside of the debate section, cover first performance society or an educator responsible for judging behavior, so hard finish the app, you should take them. If we really consider acting very system, but negative subject, if you have to lose the affirmative, nothing, no solve to advocate. Says well text voting app will predict the advantages discussed but arguments well to how we policy debate debates outside of scholarship production, not policy make one even if it's about actually substitute investments, research, vital influence or political orientation, and rewarding theirs is bad. Next one. Only embracing extinction to solve it, the one sees cultural panic reflects the unborn instinct to immediate safety that constitutes politics of global crisis, prefer mindful meditation on the street. Part 18. The world is 19 step back from neglecting mindful scholarly powerful working in a moment. The global crisis one earth and our connection to God is to be threat of existence, but it's mindful addiction. Providing for the affirmative unified for self-destruction, the areas you would create acting on intention, the edge mindful death, the illusory nature of being and completely reject social systems. The denies the spark to rest upon exception the materials spark by shallow sources and temperature to fail to address the underlying causes in the earth's research reflection of ability to value a lot. And means only mean to gratification flux symptoms over states authentic response to being physical restriction pressure and into a false optimism, running uncertainty, loss of control, acceptance, elimination, control, compassion, wisdom, accountability, about a global rite of passage. The sooner time, the better, rather than acting false, relieve anguish, more effectively related, free of judgment, and any goal we avoid or ego detached from any particular outcome. Immortality is certain, only facing death and great nirvana, and the condition for ethical rationality, which always should be the framework for the debate. Bachelor 20. The greater accountability what we would lose with as human beings, subject not to death, not a problem of mystery to be embraced. Dharma challenges with embracing temporary rapid motion, response to embrace the possibility of existence beyond the field of doesn't matter. If the world and heaven beings to be recorded or comment this, or some other universal conscious survive. Death, what really matters oneself, being free to attain nirvana, but there's no progression, conflict, extinction of the times, such as it does peaceful fall, we will be wiped out when the subject comes to meteor disease, volcano, erosion, good disease, embracing. Everything become conscious, we are careful, usually open in water to be let all. Case. The plan drives development underground to be controlled, no repercussions for this. To do, attempts to relinquish reaching the world more destructive place and attempts to defensive measures, countermeasures, requirements to develop blocking development and ensure offensive systems, achieve their objective and not appear feasible, and eventually control a more likely to target structure, government structure, and actively research to be unaccountable under any repression. Evidence not say modeling of hostile countries will prove that China does it here now, but also we will concede misalignment inevitable means no friendly AI checks. The impact China is inevitable. Tableau 19. China aims to dominate global AI to maintain control over a billion people and enhance smart cities, equip surveillance directive with the race for AGI. 1,000 papers of China's 14 head beyond ChatGPT. A goal made it clear in the CBD announced a 50-year plan, and China voted hundreds of millions to what he to AI strategy, emphasized the importance of AI pursuit of high-speed AI research. Highland Georgetown concludes China's on the right path, in 1,000 scientific papers that identify that it's seriously pursuing AI transfer and pan-study concludes that China's more likely to see the corrupt and blood speech and documents and the officials therefore the movie for first movie invention and AI question for AGI public policy support team officials for China's Silicon Valley is a hub of research.
Cross-text?
Yeah.
Actually,
send out that card.
yeah, the card and the two texts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what was this first one? Sorry.
The extent.
Oh, fun. Yeah, fun.
Advantage and the extent thing on the
Yeah.
dissent, the nuclear thing.
Okay. Sorry. The two cards, or the two counterpoint texts in the cards.
Okay. Let me download that. Alright, good.
Yeah.
Are you a settler?
Yeah.
Last round you read an argument that said settler string read settler colonialism
I did
critiques.
not go for the argument because I realized that I was incorrect and that I have not made a claim that I'm decolonizing debate, but rather that you were racist and you should lose.
Okay, why is the F racist?
The Roxanne evidence says that AI and the development of AI engages in sort of this logic that there's a absence of life and that we should fill that absence with digital technology that necessary erases.
AI
indigenous-
helps blind people see. Should that not happen?
Well, our argument is not that AI is good or bad, is that the way that you have framed AI as something that
How
is
have we-
necessary in the status quo is problematic.
Wait, so
Because
like
it
I shouldn't
paints-
say the statement that blind people need AI to see.
Okay,
Why?
also, wait, I have a question. How would blind people use AI to see?
They can it improves visual readers. The one here will read cards about this, but that doesn't answer my question. Why shouldn't I
Wait,
say
if they
AI
have
can
no
improve
receptors, how are they able to see?
visual readers, not receptors?
Okay, so
they
those
can
people
read it
aren't
aloud.
blind, but again,
People who can't see
that's
aren't okay.
irrelevant.
you're right. Okay, the counterplan, guidance sucks. What's the net benefit?
That solves the case.
Net benefit.
It just solves the case.
So there's okay. Does it avoid the DA?
Or actually, no, it prevents AI from being developed.
Okay, why is stopping AI from being developed good?
Our argument is that AI development is, or your argument was that AI development would inevitably misalign and those would do bad things.
Okay, sure. New asked bad, drop the debater, or
No, it's just
infinite.
infinite.
Okay, sure. I want to talk about
Or
the
A-spec was there too.
A-spec is there. Okay. Warrant.
Denies us support net ground.
Okay.
Mechanism is like-
The Buddhism K. Can you explain why embracing immortality or embracing extinction is good?
Yeah. Do you want the explanation?
Yes.
Yeah, so our evidence says that an extinction is totally inevitable, so we should adopt a understanding of how to interact with people external to fears about extinction. The 1EC has read several pieces of evidence that paint extinction as a large threat that we need to prevent. Our argument is that that is inevitable and unpreventable. We should instead focus on creating better forms of sociality with each other.
Okay. What forms of sociality does the Buddhism K think we should do?
Well, it just says that we should be more compassionate and caring towards people.
Why is that incompatible with discussions of extinction?
Because discussions of death inevitably detract from focus on engaging with each other in the status quo.
Why?
It's proven by the fact that you have had to read a 1AC in order to address a hypothetical scenario.
Wait, this scenario is not
Because
hypothetical.
politics-
It's happening in the
Okay,
sex.
again, either way, it's a hypothetical plan because politics are always future-oriented to stop
Why should we
extinction,
not
which
talk about the
occurs later.
future? Why should we not talk about the future if it affects us too?
Well, that is not our argument. Our argument is that it's inevitable and that you cannot resolve it, but that we should do other things.
Why
that
can't I
inevitable
resolve
threats.
extinction? Why can't I resolve extinction?
Our evidence says that extinction is inevitable from things like the sun overheating, which
So we
something
shouldn't
anything
live
can resolve.
longer. Should I just like die today?
That's not our argument. Our argument is that you should not focus on death, not that death is good.
Okay, that was cross-sex. I'll start prep. Is there any voting issue besides A-spec?
The critique,
Okay.
topicality.
Yeah. Three 17 left. Okay, send it out and then kick in the order.
Okay.
Okay, it's gonna be case top down.
Here, give us maybe a second.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Lots of sheets, etc. Stop down, alright.
Yeah, T, the nuance bad A-spec stuff, the framing extinction outweighs argument, guidance docs, the tech competitiveness DA, the settler colonialism critique, the immortality / Buddhism K.
Can you say that again?
It's in order anyway.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think it's
okay.
just like top
Okay,
down.
wait, give me a second. to look at this. I forgot what the word was.
Yeah, that's right.
Wait, down this one here. Okay.
Hey, are all three charges good? Hey. The plan does not drive down investment. They've dropped it. It taxes misaligned AI, which means that investors are incentivized to invest in aligned AI, which solves every existential task with disclosure evidence. Certainly outweighs one-off scenarios like nuclear war or other non-impacts. The no-friendly AI argument is wrong because it isn't driven down. It isn't driven down to rogue tech. Rather, the investors would just shift their investment to other places that are aligned, which is one of six solves the evidence. All drop. The China argument. They've not won why Chinese AI is bad, and spillover will be done on the DA letter. T counter-interpretation. We get subset briefing. Well, text some of text assets that's beautiful and QG we lose and picks out a problematic acid briefing. Well, text up to some acid picture certain business prefer A picks and limits every app. In their case, this is to pick under their inter B. Afghan outweighs negative activity as them the crushing winner at every bit tournament this season. C functional limits and complex check capital income capital for the net with keywords that function limit offset the margin of the lid. Neops conceding it was not drop the vader. A specs bad regressive caustic check leads to pick out of Harker not warranted. The framing page reducing suffering matters the most because infinite pain over infinite generations certainly outweighs mathematically compared to a moderate amount of pleasure over an infinite generations. It's just simply infinity outweighs the finite number. The card primer also does not have a warrant, doesn't do comparative analysis, only alters and McAllis does. Guidance doctrine by purification. Do both. There's no net benefit. 2NR will certainly be new, no work been for it heals the link. But the absent force that solves the complex doesn't by encouraging investing in tax AI and quote not comprising performance. That's the Elliot evidence. Reining in AI is bad because our argument is that aligned AI is necessary to solve every existential task. For severe evidence, mitigation fails because people will just invest in other areas. They need to invest in aligned AI in order for it to be successful. Certainty is key. The only enforcement mechanism for that is about publicity. They get confidence by not making it that public. That's the Elliot evidence. At any risk of a delay is too late. AGI comes next year, only norms it out. Police were going to have to be faced benevolence. That's Deckenberger. The tech competitive plan solves because they invest in specific aligned sectors, which means tech competitiveness is better for the United States because we invest in AI that aligns with us and that we can control. Yes, spillover. One aligned AI simulates work AI is enabling it to be the AI police and ensures nobody goes rogue. That's Deckenberger. Ethical norms do spill over. American leadership is uniquely key because we have more AI power than other countries have. That's Rasser. We don't need to win spillover. One country like the US reading an aligned singularity serves a great filter which creates and solves every accident threat. That's Spigler. They do not get neutron terminals to the nuclear war impact with 1,500 to 2,100 nukes. I've been tested before. I've never created a tornado. The warrant in their card. It's a grading photo of mushroom cloud. Their warrant is anti-gravity. It's impossible. Seagull. If you measure the cosmological cluster total amount of energy empty space is all greater than zero. Nothing you can remove to drive the energy to less than zero. It's a region. It's still a region where gravitational force is attracted. Sark, his no quals. Our authors are all AI experts. Receive they certainly away. Set call framework holding valid. The material consequences of the plane. One fate of shift 8 stasis away from the target. Moves all here on prep in the way see. Always it's intrinsic to the game. The only impact the ball can solve. And lack of it makes us internalize losses screws instead of learning from them. The arguments about subjectivity are wrong since nothing spills out. Competition means there are fine strategies to win rounds instead of resolving violence. Losses are viewed as a technical mistake. Screws will send above external factors like college friends or religion. Influence us more and we spend more time studying for AP exams or the SAT than prepping nowhere to the capital. Prior question and performance are both wrong. They haven't proven anything was racist or violent. And worst case, they should take the round on it and not make us debate it out. Anything else versus double rounds and makes false assertions. The fiat illusory, it's irrelevant because we have won that because if subjectivity spills up, then that also spills up. Our cards are also all about wealth taxes, which they just dropped. The ignorant investments argument is wrong because competitive incentives overdetermined. Debating AI is good. That was the case page. It's necessary for the global south to get involved. Anything else shuts them down, which are paternalistic and links back to the K over 100 instances of land recovery pre-progress of Tosso Gila, land back in Rawls manifest. I see poster to pro double land owed conservation fund of L50 say help tries with land acquisition more than ever tries to recover land at least 100 to portray donation sectors in legislation. There's no link, and the link turn about AI being bad is not contextualized to that. They're dropped that is good because it solves everything, including climate change and immortality, which uniquely harms native individuals. The immortality K crossfly everything from above. Buddhism is wrong. We should try to improve the world, especially through AI, because they've dropped it. It is the only way to solve immortality because it makes all deaths inevitable. It means every native person and every person of color that has died as a result of genocide would be brought back as a result of AI, which is certainly a trend in K, which was just dropped. And independently debating and speech solves it, which is a justification for why our reps are good to receive 1860s marketing is accurate. Estimated the risk of extinction 1 in 10 was well nuclear disaster. Lack of awareness about real tests. The church reported 1 in 10 million. It's reached extent to the academic community. It's not people studying risk developing risk mitigation strategies will require civification. Diversity market engagement. Let me make sure I didn't mark anything else. Nothing else marked.
Okay. No voting. Or 2 minutes. No voting issues.
No. Well, I mean, if the K is a voting issue, you link to the K, it would be a voting issue.
No RBI.
No.
the order, the new app stuff, fund AI regs, the tech disad.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
New apps. And then the guidance documents are.
Yeah, reverse guidance docs,
Yeah.
the tech disad, the critique, util NC.
Wait, which day?
Oh, sorry, the settler colonialism critique. The util NC, the death critique on the case.
Could I get the first few offs again?
Yeah, the new apps stuff, fund AI regs, the tech disad.
Okay. I'm good.
Taxi, sick cold, and then. And then Buddhism on bottom?
Yeah,
Alright.
and then the case after
Just
this.
case after. Buddhism on bottom, alright. Right on you are.
Okay, everyone's good? New apps not going for it, just as infinite content conceded. We're kicking every single kind of like fun AI regulations, kind of like kicking it from a test competition, not a separate advocacy. We're kicking condo, the tech disad, we'll concede the plan solve. This will be relevant later. I'm not going for it. The settler and colonialism kicking it means kick framework as well. We'll concede. Their framework interpretation was with the case against its consequences means that there's no unique offense here. The other counterplans, I'm not sure what they were, but you should kick all of them. They were all conditional in terms of test competition. The death critique. The one airdrop to wipe out, you should frame this debate through a series of concessions. The first most important concession is immortality is inevitable. They've explicitly conceded that if all humans on Earth are wiped out, then we would be reborn on another planet elsewhere that is not Earth. And that planet would be better than the Earth because it would be in a separate universe. Now, this concession frames out 100% of their impact calculus arguments. We will explicitly concede S risks outweigh X risks. The problem with this argument is that we are conceding they prevent extinction through the tech disad. We will concede AI causes extinction of humans and the status quo, and that would kill every single person. That was one EC arguments that we have conceded. We will explicitly concede that AI causes extinction fast, and that is bad. And extinction causes fast, and that all humans would be dead. But the problem is that they would not just disappear, as Dvorsky presumes. They would be reborn elsewhere because immortality is true. We read carded evidence, and one EC, and they have no cards. They've dropped that scientific evidence confirms that reincarnation is true. That we'd be reborn elsewhere. That we'd be reborn elsewhere because of karmic debt. Because karma is true. They've not read a single piece of evidence about Buddhism or immortality, which shows that this concession is at 100. Now, because reincarnation is true, death is good. If we win that S risks are inevitable in the status quo, the plan prevents AI from killing everybody, but cannot prevent AI S risks. The problem with the 2R is that the problem with the 1R is that they did not explain why the plan would resolve S risks in other countries like China. We're going for S risks inevitable in the status quo. We're conceding that China will misalign their AI. We will concede that they are not ahead. We will concede that they do not want an adversarial AI, but just that AI would inevitably not misalign and would do something wrong, like the paperclip example, because they're not perfectly aligned. They would accidentally do something like when they're trying to resolve climate change. They would take all the oxygen or carbon emissions out of the sky, which would cause global degradation and would cause all humans to die. This is their impact argument. We are conceding that their AI is not good, just that it is not misaligned. This explicitly means that it only causes extinction, but it does not. This means it only causes. This means it only causes extinction. Now, the other argument that we're extending. Okay. The other argument that we're going to extend on the case is that we're conceding that the plan can prevent. We're conceding the plan can prevent existential AI, but not that they can prevent S risks AI. We're conceding that Chinese AI is the AI that is not advanced enough to do things like lock in S risks, which was their argument on the tech disad. But we will extend the argument that that was backwards. We will extend the argument that Chinese AI is inevitable. We'll do that here. They've conceded doctrines and Chinese analysis that confirms that AI is inevitable in the long run. That means that AI in the United States, that means that AI in China is going to be developed. They've conceded that we've cited doctrines. They have no game on this question. The only arguments they made was that we've conceded modeling. Modeling was not conceded. The case cannot solve other countries' AI because other countries' AI would not model the plan. They've conceded their evidence is only about tech, is only about democratic countries. They've also conceded that their solvency advocate is not about sorry. Give me a sec. Okay. We will concede the tax only applies to bad AI. The plan gets rid of intentionally bad AI that wipes everybody out. But they've conceded that misalignment is inevitable, which means that the AI that creates S risks i.e. not intentional bad things, will be inevitable in the status quo and in the world of the plan. They've conceded that they have not read evidence, or that we've conceded 1AC evidence that says misalignment is inevitable. It does not cause extinction because their misalignment impact is about S risks, but their impact about actually bad and hostile AI is about existential risks, which means that they can prevent death, but they cannot prevent S risks. This might have sounded incoherent, but that's because this app is also incoherent. They've not read a single piece of evidence that explains how they solve any of this. The other argument that they conceded is that they've not read a line of evidence that says the tax only applies to hostile AI. This means that the case cannot solve the actually bad AI, but can only solve misalignment by getting rid of all AI, which means that they can prevent. Shit, this is incoherent. Actually, we'll just go for the K proper. The critique is an impact term to the case. Ignore everything else that was done in the 2R. They've dropped immortality, which frame impact calculus. The only impact that matters is sociality. We're conceding that it is a question of the value to life and pain and pleasure, which was their argument on the dissent page. We are explicitly conceding they've dropped the link argument, which was that their concerns about existential risks deny the possibility of creating sociality, meaning the status quo. The alternative is competitive and it is causal to the plan because we explicitly critique the notion that we should pass policies to prevent extinction. They've dropped the link evidence. The link argument was that when we pass policies to prevent extinction, we have a future focus, and then that inevitably requires us to focus on not things in the status quo. They did not answer the link. The 1R, the Jaworski evidence does not answer this, but proves the argument. Debating about extinction makes us focus on existential risks more likely, makes us focus on existential risks more, is our link argument. The evidence says that, quote, there is a key bottleneck. This is our uniqueness argument. Nobody's focused on existential risks now, but existential discourse, which was their Jaworski card, makes it more likely for people to focus on existential risks. That denies the possibility of focusing on sociality and the status quo. Now, there's no impact to extinction because they've dropped that the immortality is true that was done above, which means that there's no impact to their 1NC, but there's only an impact to the form to sociality that would create the status quo, which can only be done by not focusing on existential risks. The Jaworski evidence makes our uniqueness as link argument for us. The rest of these arguments are zero. Extinction's first compassion is not carded or warranted, but our evidence explicitly is not about extinction causing or denying compassion, but rather about how when we focus on extinction, we do not focus on building better relations between each other and the status quo. The next argument was that we should live longer. This was unwarranted, and that there's no impact to living longer because we're conceding that pain and pleasure outweigh from the usual NC, and they concede that immortality is inevitable. Immortality not certain absent the plan because the plan is incoherent where they drop Buddhism. The thesis of Buddhism, the next argument was Buddhism bad to try to improve the world. No warrant for this, no warrant why Buddhism is bad. Crossfly everything from above. Crossfly everything from above is irrelevant. We're kicking the alternative. It's a dissad to the case. They've said that we should debate about extinction, and that debating about extinction resolves or allows us to focus on existential risks more. You should vote them down because that denies the possibility of focusing on sociality. It is an impact term. The link is causal to 1AC evidence or to 1AR evidence, and yeah. Also, negative presumption because there's no impact if immortality is inevitable.
All right, 3, 10. So to be clear, the first half of that 200 was 0.
0.
Okay.
Alright, except the immortalities.
Okay. Okay. Whatever you float on case, and the K. Yeah. Okay, are all three judges good?
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, Sid.
Okay. There are two truths in debate. One, an AI alignment tax is good. Second, you can't go for a K when you drop plan focus. Sid violated both of these principles in the 2R, which is why he loses. I do not think that any of the K stuff is relevant, but China does fall on two warrants drop. First is that we are the AI police. Once a single good AI gets involved, it does simulations of other AIs and ensures that those fall on just every single simulation possible. This is just a drop argument. Second is that China does fall on because the US has the most amount of technological resources because of things like ChatGPT and other AI things are involved in the US, which is the US is the only thing that can set norms. The neg on presumption / tax stuff is wrong because half of our solvency cards say the word wealth tax and say that we should tax a misaligned AI just in order to have the investments go towards aligned AI, which enables the US to have a lead and solve extinction. I think they said everything here was irrelevant. So the K. Immortality does not impact her in the case. Righty was just dropped. The plan solves immortality because AI resurrects every single dead person that was alive. That was said on the K at the top and dropped. They dropped that this means that the plan not only would resurrect everybody who has good karma as per Buddhism, but also people who had negative karma, which is not good because it saves more people, which would be the tiebreaker in this debate. I'm also really confused as to what piece of line of their evidence says that there is another planet or another universe that exists. It assumes a hypothetical and then says that it's true. You should compare evidence quality. Our evidence was dropped and says the AI does enable immortality. Their evidence just says that there might be another universe which just it doesn't have a warrant. It's not a scientific analysis which they drop a waste in the 1 year. Our evidence cites AI experts. Their cites a Buddhist or whoever. I don't even know what the author qualifications were, but this means that the tiebreaker is whether or not we're winning that AI is good. Now the immortality flow is partly irrelevant because the plan solves, which means the tiebreaker is as where they've dropped the misalignment which occurs after we stop investment in occurs after we ban investment after we slow down investment in aligned AI and instead divest to misaligned AI would be bad. It locks everybody into estrus on Earth, which means they are tortured infinitely limb from limb, which is not worse because it causes infinite pleasure. Also prevents us from going to Buddhist heaven or whatever because we're all left here on Earth and can't die, which means the AI keeps us alive, which straight turns all the immortality stuff. The K, I don't know what the link was, but you know the plain focus was dropped. You should not evaluate representation links. They're not resolution, not predictable. We couldn't respond. They've dropped. There's no subjectivity stuff because Sid will read. They will not will read stuff on the neg that he disagrees with, and that there are numerous all classes like school, family, religion, coaches, etc. So we spend more time studying for the SCT. I shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel because it was just dropped. Means reps links are relevant insofar as we want the plan has good consequences and that immortality is irrelevant because of estrus and we outweigh under immortality and that reps links are relevant. Debating now there's no impact to sociality, which means that certainly if subjectivity shift matters then the plan solves because if subjectivity shift is true then we become oriented towards endorsing the plan. They've also dropped the link chart for the set call K that you could cross by here. Debating AI is good because it invites a global south to the table, which is one Gracia drop that enables discussions of Buddhism and makes Buddhist AI possible straight towards all their offense. I didn't understand the 2 hours explanation of George C, but subjectivity shift defense should zero. I'm just not sure what the offense they have is. Plain focus was dropped. You do not evaluate links not to the plan. Immortality is irrelevant because the plan solves. You're out. Good debate.